Hi kids. Been a few minutes since we've done a video. Of course it's springtime and everybody's starting to try and tackle all those things that went wrong with their car over the winter. I'm no different. I've put a lot of things off. I've got a brake light out and we're going to fix that here in a minute, but first I want to show you something. This is a late 60s, early 70s Craftsman toolbox. Specifically, it's called a 6500. And I found this at Goodwill the other day for $15. And I bought it because, one, I like cool old metal toolboxes. It's an American-made Craftsman, which is kind of dear to me because that's, as a mechanic, that's what I started out with. And specifically, one of the earliest memories I have is probably from 1973, 74. When I was a little kid, we lived in California, and I remember distinctly watching my father walk through the backyard carrying this exact same toolbox. I saw it sitting there in the thrift store. Well, I just decided I had to have it for $15. So I'll be honest with you, when I looked at it at the thrift store, I did open the top, looked at it, and saw that a lot of the stuff in it was pretty old. So let's see what's in here. This is a Craftsman tape measure, and it looks fairly new, and they still sell one like this. But this one's made in America. Craftsman stuff, as far as I'm aware these days, is all made in China. This, I can't remember what these were called, but this is an old, basically a pipe wrench. Some people call it a monkey wrench, very common in old handyman stuff. These days you see a lot of these 4-in-1, 5-in-1, 11-in-1, 75-in-1 flip around screwdrivers. I use them all the time. This is an early example of that idea. This shaft is square, but it's a flat blade on one end and a Phillips on the other. The handle's got a square shaft in it, and this is by Snap-on. And if I'm remembering right, this is really old and probably worth a few bucks because there's guys that collect Snap-on these days. Let's see what this is. Vichrome, made in USA. This is probably from one of the big tool forges. S.K. Wayne. S.K. Wayne is the old name for a tool company that eventually became S.K. 3/4 inch, 12 point. These were still pretty common when I was a kid. These wooden handled screwdrivers. I don't know who made this one. Maybe one of you know who made this. This is a PNC. I am not familiar with PNC. It appears to be. It's not really a deep well. I don't know. That's almost like a specialty tool. But it's a 1/2 inch drive. What? 3/4 inch. This guy had a lot of 3/4 inch stuff. Let's see what else we got. Channel locks. They still make these. These may not be very old. I'm not sure. I used to call these nail nippers. Probably another pair of channel locks. Yeah, 420 channel locks made in Medville, PA, USA. Here's a pair of Stanleys, same thing. These don't say USA, so they are probably more Chinese. Don't know though, I haven't actually found anything that's Chinese in here yet. Got an old triangular file, like a bastard file made in India. Oh, that's interesting. Never seen that before. It's got the little, I see that little flower mark on a lot of Indian made stuff. I guess that's an Indian symbol. Don't know much about India myself. Here is another Vichrome, little tiny breaker bar. That's really cool. I like that 1/4 inch. Goes good with that socket. That's neat. I like that. Here's a pair of Robo grips. I remember when these came out, I went out and bought some. These are made in USA. I thought these were going to be like revolutionary. Turned out I really didn't use them very much, but the idea is that it's like a self-adjusting, adjustable, supposed to compete with channel locks. It's a good tool. It's just wasn't as good as I thought it would be. What's this? AW forged alloy. Oh, Blackhawk. Well, Blackhawk's a good brand. It's a little 6-inch US made Croissant wrench. Let's dig through and see what else we got. Now, when I was a kid, you had the Craftsman brand, which were expensive, and then the Sears brand that were cheap. Yeah, this is Japanese made. Back when Japanese made products were considered inferior, that's where you went for cheap stuff. They had the status when I was a kid in the 70s that China has now. All you guys that lost your 10mm wrench, there it is, US made Craftsman. Let's see what else. Several other Craftsman open-end wrenches, box-end wrenches, combination wrenches. Another SK. Here's a Taiwan-made 10mm. You don't see those very often anymore. Tools made in Taiwan. Snap-on. There's a Snap-on 7/16 12 point. Taiwan 14mm. So this guy's metric stuff is cheap import. So he clearly didn't care for metric stuff. He didn't care for import vehicles items. Made in America, damn it. It's a 12mm. There's another Japanese wrench, Fuller. I did not know Fuller was ever made in Japan, but there it is, forged in Japan, drop forged. Chrome vanadium, Taiwan. You used to see chrome vanadium, which is a type of metal, or a type of plating, written on a lot of Taiwanese tools. That was their selling point. Hey, it's chrome vanadium, it can't be that big a piece of junk. 7/16 deep well Craftsman. Let's get a look in the bottom of this, see what else he had. I keep saying he, because back when a lot of these tools were made, gender norms were a lot more strict than they are now. Nowadays, anybody can be what they want to be. There's a ground terminal. AmaPro. Not familiar with that. That's a strange looking socket. It's bigger on the work end than it is on the handle end. Another Snap-on. Who makes this? No. Wizard 1/2 inch. Pretty wore out. That's odd. I've never heard of that one. Lockrite USA. That is a 3/8 on one end and a 3/8 on the other. That's like a fitting wrench, like for doing brake lines. One of these old ratcheting screwdrivers. These were big in the 80s. Wire nuts. Snap-on 3/8. There's a no name. Oh no, that's not a no name. It's a Thorson. There's an adapter from Snap-on. A couple more files. That is a oil filter wrench, I think. Made in USA. Patent pending. 6 wrenches in one. Craftsman 1/2 inch extension. Craftsman 5/8 spark plug wrench. Craftsman 3/8 extension. Little tiny Stanley made in America screwdriver. Everybody had one of these when I was a kid. Everybody. This looks like the kind of screwdriver that would have been included in your toolkit in your car, you know, like in there with your tire tool and whatnot. What's this? Oh, this goes on your oil can when you change the oil in your car. So this person was very much into doing their own maintenance on their own vehicle. So I just thought that might be something you might find interesting. Clearly this person did their own vehicle maintenance, and that pertains to everything we do here on this channel. I'm curious, do you think I can change out this bulb using these ancient tools? Let's find out. I got a brake light out, and the way that I check that is every once in a while I take my phone and go set it behind my car when it's dark out, and I go hit the brakes and I hit the blinkers and all that stuff. Then I go and watch the video that I just took. That's how one person can check this stuff by themselves. So I've got these Sylvania bulbs we're going to be putting in. And let's see if I can change this using just the junk that's in this box. Point being, you do not need the latest and greatest tools to keep your car maintained. We'll take this Snap-on screwdriver, take these bolts out. See what else we got in here. Check that out. That is a magnet for retrieving the stuff that you drop. Made like an old car antenna. See? That's cool. Alright, definitely be using that. Alright, now this whole tail light should just pop right out. Boink. There it goes. So this bottom one here is the running light and the brake light. Yeah. If you get looking at it, you can kind of see one of those filaments is burned in too. Sylvania is what I'm going with. I'm not going with LEDs on these because if you guys have watched the channel much, you've watched me get into the whole battle of trying to swap out LEDs. And it's not super hard, but it's just more work than it needs to be. And what you gain is a bunch of nothing. So to put this back in, you'll notice that the hull is shaped like a big Dorito, sort of roundy kind of Dorito. And so is the plug. So now you understand how that works. So we're gonna put it in here like this and turn it till it flops down in there, and then turn it again, and it'll just kind of clunk into place. This little arrow, if you've done it right, should be pointing at the part number over here on this. And then we just put it back. We're done. There's a socket that'll go on that as well. I think it's an 8mm. Put your screws back in and that's it. I'm going to do the other side as well. As far as I know, these are original bulbs to this car. I have no reason to suspect they aren't. That little magnet's handy, isn't it? Very simple. Whoops. Same procedure as our bulb. It just plugs in. No more complicated than that. That's it, guys. This toolbox means a lot to me, and I'm gonna write to my dad and let him know I found this. And you know, I've made my living for 50-something years using tools, and this toolbox is my first memory of tools. So now I've got a little piece of it. Call it buying back my childhood. We'll see you next time, and remember, you don't need fancy tools. You can buy thrift store junk to work on your own car, and do not pay someone to put brake lights in your car. You can do it, I promise. See you next time.